welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're an old zaddy, you know the drill. Welcome back, sweetie. Alright, today's video is going to be a sit-down video. I am going to be doing a life update. So I'm going to be talking to you guys, giving you a little bit of a life update, telling you what has been happening throughout the whole year that I haven't been here. Not into detail, but I'll try my best to summarize it. And yeah, the reason why I left Zimbabwe, why am I back home, what are my plans, what you guys should expect from me, and how everything is gonna get going. So yeah, I just thought, let me just sit down, not keep the people curious. I mean, my old subscribers would obviously want to know. My friends that do follow me would obviously want to know what has been happening, why the sudden move, and what are my future plans. So yeah, let's get right into it. So for those of you that do know, I've been in Zimbabwe since 2019 and I started a business venture there. I mean, I started my business. Well, initially I had started my business here in South Africa, but I thought at that time I was not as much experienced and I thought maybe it would be a great idea for me to take my skills and my talent with me to the other side of Africa, just to give them a hint and show them my talents and try explore the economy that side, which I did. It went quite well. A lot of challenges came along the way, but trust me, I kept on taking the leap of faith. I kept on putting in the work. I kept on dedicating my time and investing into my business, and eventually I managed to build a very well clientele, high end if I may say, and I did quite well for myself. I mean, we managed to do decor an event which I never thought I'd ever venture into. We managed to do meal packs, which I initially wanted to do, and at that time people really that were in my circle thought that, you know what, it's not really gonna work. I mean, this is not South Africa. People don't have the money to be spending on doing meal packs and all of that. And I kept the faith. I'm like, no, I definitely do know that I have a market for this. I ended up learning how to decorate cakes, which I never really studied when I was doing my culinary. I did the basics and I never went into doing the actual practical work. What you do learn in theory and practical at school is very different to what you actually do learn in industry. And I made use of the YouTube platform where I ended up watching videos. I started practicing. I mean, looking at my first cake and looking at the cake that I make now, they're absolutely different. But yeah, so I took some time there and I started my YouTube channel during the pandemic. That was to keep myself occupied and not so anxious about how I was gonna make my next rent, how I was gonna make my next food, and all of that. So I started my YouTube channel during the pandemic and it was just in that mindset. I'm trying to keep myself busy. I'm not trying to stay too anxious and worried about things. So I was like, no, you know what? I've been wanting to do this, and I challenged myself to actually start, and I started. So along the way of me starting, I was creating content. I remember doing a get to know me tag. I remember showing people what I do in the life of a hustler. I remember showing people a haul. I remember it was a haul, I think, yes. It was a haul where I had bought some equipment for my manicure business, where I was showing people the nails and all of the stuff that I got. And yeah, fast forward to where we are today. So a couple of months ago, this should be 5 months ago. So from 2020 up until beginning of this year, the pandemic was very tight, but I don't know, God's grace still found me. I managed to keep getting the bill, like the bill is paid. Like I was more busy rather at that time than I would normally be under the time that we were not under lockdown. And I think maybe it was because I essentially provide housecore services, and because people were locked in their homes, they couldn't go nowhere, they really needed me because I really focus on going to people's houses, being for massages, being for food, being for hair, being for nails, whatever it is that I do under the criteria of my business. And yeah, I made more money at that time. I made, like, I could do more than just surviving, you know. I could take care of myself and all of that. And now, fast forward to January this year, we went under lockdown again. It was an intense lockdown as well. And that's when the meal packs part of my business started, where I was now supplying clients with food while they were at home, and I'd prepare like healthy food. Some would prefer traditional healthy food, some Western healthy food like our French food that we're used to and all of that. So I did survive till until so it was January, February, March, April actually. So after that lockdown, I was still busy, bookings were still coming in, the lockdown got lifted, events were now happening. We were getting busy, it wasn't really that bad. Sorry about that sound. I think it was a motorbike that was driving past. But anyway, we still had clients, we were still getting bookings, things were going well, but it was as not as well as it was before. So because I had been used to keeping afloat and not just surviving, but being able to live outside of survival, it became a little bit tricky because now I had started saving, and my savings were mainly for me to buy a car and just in case of emergency. So now, fast forward to July. July, August, September, no, June, July, August, September, we were now put under lockdown. So now the unfortunate part was this lockdown was not as hectic as the previous ones, and this lockdown now was level 4, whereas other businesses were allowed to operate except for us, the guys that are in events and catering. We were not allowed to do business as usual as others were doing because gatherings, weddings, funerals, you know, birthdays and all of that were limited in numbers. Number one, for the funerals precisely. The funerals were now cut down to 30, there were no longer 50 people anymore. As for weddings, birthdays, and other gatherings, they were banned. Totally banned. Now you can imagine, this is where my rent comes from. This is where my means of survival comes from. I mean, this is where my data comes from. This is where my well-being as a whole comes from. And all I'm left with is a whole room full of equipment. I mean, imagine I had just bought equipment for my spa and I wanted to launch my brand and do like a snack bar. And here I am with massage beds, with foot spas, with facial steamers, and all of that stuff. I'm like literally looking at all of them. And I'm like, okay, so what's supposed to happen now? Because most of the money that I had accumulated from my savings, I invested into buying equipment. I mean, I have a dream and I was working towards, I am still working towards, but at the time I would say I was working towards starting my dream, living my dream, and you know, manifesting all these things that I've always wanted. But yeah. The lockdown happened. Events were banned 100%, and I was just stuck with my feelings. Now I'm stuck with the little savings that I have left, which were not even more than $1,000. I mean, I've got rent to pay, I've got food to buy, I've got electricity and water, I've got my own means of survival, which is now my entertainment, my physical welfare, buying myself new clothes because we are entering the winter season and you know, you always need to buy new stuff. I mean, I grow big all the time and some things don't fit anymore. So yeah, at that moment, it's just me with my feelings and the little that I have. I managed to survive off my savings. I mean, I had to cut off in terms of my living, my lifestyle, I had to stay within my means and operate from what I could operate from. But it got now a bit hectic and toxic for me because now, I mean, you're so used to operating in this way, and now a sudden change has come unplanned. And it's different from the previous lockdown because remember, like I said, the previous lockdowns were actually an advantage for me because people never used to go to the salons. People would not go to restaurants and dine. They would call out for my services, you know. And now we're on level 4. People can still go to restaurants. I mean, people can still go to the salon. People are cooking from their houses. And now you're like, oh no, what do we do? I just thought to myself, you know what? I think it's about time we do a re-evaluation on our business. Let's check what has been bringing in more money, how have we been surviving, what we have been doing with our profits, and what have we achieved so far in terms of equipment and all of that. So yeah, I did a re-evaluation and I figured to myself, you know what? The decision I'm about to make right now is solely based on how best it is for my business, how we're going to be able to move on. Because until that lockdown happened, I really got to sit down and realize that, hey, you know what? The pandemic is here. We're living in the pandemic. It's not going anywhere. Maybe it might, but right now we've got to do what we can with all that we have. And yeah, I then decided, you know what, let's go digital. Let's teach people how to cook. Let's do digital content. Let's survive in other ways that will still be able to keep you afloat, regardless of the fact that you're doing the physical work. At least you do know that there's one source of income that is definite, and which is what we're doing now. So this brings me to my future plans. And my future plans are to stick to being a digital content creator. I'm going to be trying my best, my 100% best to give out the best quality in terms of my teachings, in terms of my influencing work. I'm looking to become an influencer. I'd really like to promote food brands. I'd really like to try new recipes. I'd really like to show people that it is a different technique to eating healthy, you know, to eating good food, to staying fit and all of that, which incorporates my health journey in terms of me losing weight as well, which I've already started. I'm not really on a strict diet, but I'm very cautious about what I put into my body. I mean, I'm trying my best to eat all my vegetables and my fruit, you know, less calories, drinking more water and all of that. I mean, the Do It October challenge has also helped me. Thanks to Mpumile Dwaba for putting up such a great initiative where we ourselves are able to even, you know, jump in and be like, oh, you know what, this is a good initiative. I'd like to try it out too. But yeah, from where we're headed now, by the look of things, yes, I'll still be doing my physical gatherings. I'll still be cooking for people. I'm still gonna be doing catering and a la carte, fine dining, you name it. I'm still gonna be doing meal packs and cakes. I'm still gonna be doing massages, manicures, and the likes, and more focusing on the digital platforms where I'll be able to teach people how to cook, influence good products, man, influence good food, trying out new food, traveling more, living life and not just existing, because I got to realize at the end of the day, life is short. So yeah, this is it for my catch up, my life update. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys do understand where I'm coming from and where I'm headed. And I really appreciate the support. I really appreciate support from you guys. You know, there's nothing more important than getting more support. It doesn't even have to be physical, but you know, emotional, and just knowing that your audience, your followers are here to support you. They're here to give you all the love. And yeah, that's it for my update, guys. Thank you so much for passing by. Thank you so much for showing the love. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video.